When it comes to editing columns, rows, and cells, I'm basically talking about how you can insert and delete columns and rows, and also adding cells within a range that already has cells there, but you want to add some new cells without having to delete them, and then retyping them over here so you can get some blank cells here, or wherever you want to do that in your worksheet. In any case, to go ahead and insert a blank column or row, you can either right-click on the column header, and it's got the entire column header now selected, and in the shortcut menu, you get Insert, and it shifts the entire worksheet over a row, so I now have a blank row A, and what was A now becomes B, and B becomes C, and so on. And that looks kind of nice because I've got a little space from the left-hand side, or a margin as it were. Or, let's go ahead and hit undo. You can go ahead and click on the column header, or click in any cell. You don't have to click on the column header. And the other option is to come up here on the Home tab to the Cells group, and click on the Insert drop-down arrow, and you get columns there as well. So doesn't matter if you select the entire column, that will work if you go to the cells group there. Let me go ahead and hit undo. You can do multiple columns at the same time, so if you're like, hey, I'd like 2 blank columns right here and have these 2 columns pushed over, then go ahead and click and drag and select 2 columns and right click on the selection, go to Insert, and it pushes over as many columns as you had selected when you inserted it. And then of course to go ahead and delete it, you can right click and get the delete option, or again up here in the cells group, on the Home tab, you got delete as well. You can go ahead and delete the selected columns, and we're back to where we started. And don't forget we have the rows. Click and drag row header 1 through 5, and right click is easier for me than coming up here in the cells group and inserting, so we can insert there. That works. And then undo that, or right click to delete it. Now if you don't want to insert whole columns or rows, but maybe just open up some space within a range of data. For example, let's look at this section right here. If I want to move it over a column, I could, of course, go ahead and click and drag and select the range, hover over the border and click and drag it over one. That works. Let me undo that. Or I can go ahead and click and drag the range to the left of it. And with those cells selected, when I right-click the selection and go to Insert, with these cells, do you want to shift them over to the right? And when they get shifted over to the right, whatever's to the right of it gets shifted over one as well. Or we can shift the cells down, and when these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells get shifted down, if there's anything below it, they get shifted down 6 as well. Or again, you can do entire rows or columns, but let's just do cells and click Okie dokie, and it shifts them over. And then by the same token, you can right-click it to bring it back and say delete, and it says, okay, do you want to shift cells to the left here or up? So do you notice a pattern? When it comes to inserting, for Excel, it's going to be shifting to the right or down. But when it comes to deleting, it's going to be pulling it up and or to the left. So do you want to pull the cells to the left here by 1 column, or do you want to pull them up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows? Well, we'll do left, click Okie dokie, and it brings them back. And then to push my point home, if you go ahead and select 2 cells here, and you're like, I'd like to go ahead and push these over or down without deleting the data there, then right-click the selection and Insert, and you can go down. And of course, it pushes it down. It doesn't make sense here as far as the database we've got laid out, but you get my point. And then, of course, you can right-click the selection, or just select one cell and right-click to delete to shift it up one. And we're almost there, so we'd have to right-click that cell to delete to shift it up one more to bring everything back to the way it was before we started the video. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.